See, I got my Cowboys hat on. Like I'm with the rest of Dallas right now. I just want to say to the Cowboys fans out there that it's going to be all right. We have a good offense, we have a young offense, and we have an adaptable defense. I don't know what's missing. I really don't. And I hope we figure it out. But I do want to say to people out there that I was deployed when we lost to Philadelphia about 3 years ago, and I felt the pain of us losing the game at home that would have probably got us into the playoffs. Actually, that was the game. We would have gotten to the playoffs, and we missed it. I remember because it was New Orleans that was wild card, and they beat Philly on the road. So I personally felt the pain, of the hatred of Texas, but just the pain of losing, and then the pain of Cowboy haters just everywhere around me. No matter what your knowledge is, no matter what your history is on the Cowboys, if this is your home, that hurt. That loss that we took on Sunday night, that hurt. But honestly, I love my home. I'm a Dallas native. I was born in Texas, and I personally feel like I'm speechless. I don't know what happened. If I'm doing anything right now, I want to stand up for all of those Cowboys fans that they believed in us even when we were 4-12 last year. They believed in us even when we didn't have, Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott or DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Cowboy Nation, that's what I'm saying.
Be good.
With that said, here we are at the round table for Super Bowl pick.
Oh, man. Okay.
So we got Green Bay,
let's
Atlanta in the NFC. We got Patriots and Pittsburgh in the AFC. Now, we were 2-2 in our records. We said it.
Yeah, we couldn't get. I watched all of the game. Everybody did, I'm sure, but we just couldn't get it done. And I think that the Cowboys should have got it done. I mean, you had one of the best offensive lines in the league. Dez Bryant, where were you? I watched the game, and I was wanting Dez Bryant to get the ball more too, or at least be more of a decoy, so that others could get open. And I just thought the play calling, as far as the run was concerned, I think to me, that's what hurt the Cowboys, because they weren't able really to run the ball. The statistics, I think it was like 30 times usually a game or close to that number, and they just weren't able to get that done. And when you leave Aaron Rodgers on the field with all that time, even 30 seconds, that's a lot of time, and he made us pay for that. So I think that's why we lost that game.
I agree with you 100%. I don't want to blame Jason Garrett for this loss, but I do put the majority of this loss on the coaching staff. And I'll tell you why. Because they had 2 weeks to prepare for the hottest team in the NFL. And you always elect to get the ball first, but you couldn't draw up a scoring drive in the first possession of the game. You had to settle for 3. Then on defense, you don't think that maybe Aaron Rodgers, who's the best or one of the best in this league at catching defenses in the middle of a play change or a shift change. So he caught on our very first substitution. He caught us on a third down and 5. Bad. And so to me, that I put that on the coaching staff. So we all know what happens. We fall down. It's 21-3. But Dak and Dez, I disagree with you. I feel like Dez got the ball enough. He got 9 receptions, I believe, and like 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. I feel like Dez did what he needed to do, but I agree with you on the run game. The run game was missing. It was missing when you have a running back like Ezekiel Elliott averaging 5.7 a carry. And when you have third and a few yards at the end of the game, okay, everybody wants to kill Jason Garrett for clocking the ball and not just going with the next play. I understand clocking the ball because you're trying to score a touchdown in that situation. But once you end up at third down, you have to let Zeke touch the ball at least once, if not just to run clock, but also he probably had the best chance of scoring. So I I don't blame our rookie quarterback. I don't blame the team. I know our defense is suspect. It has been all year. But the coaches, to me, when it was those critical moments, they didn't make the right call. Even at the very end, when Aaron Rodgers, you got him in 3rd and 20 because you sent a blitz on 2nd down. But then they go into this, 3-man rush situation on 3rd
Yeah, that
down.
didn't work out
and
for
let
anybody.
Aaron Rodgers have all day, forever and all day to just survey the field and find somebody open.
I
And
was
he did,
saying
of
the
course.
entire first half, where was the defense?
They
Well.
cannot do what you're asking them to do. Aaron Rodgers, he torched the Giants defense. And we
Right, they're the
couldn't
best in the
even
league.
score
They're supposed to be the best
touchdowns
in the
against
league.
the Giants defense. That was a good defense, and he torched them. I expected it to be high scoring. I said 47 or 42 to 37 in this game because I
think
thought
I
it
said
was
it was
going
high
to be
scoring, too.
high scoring. But when you know that this is the last possession of the game, you don't leave 30-something seconds with 2 timeouts to Aaron Rodgers. You just don't. And I blame Jason Garrett for that.
Yeah, they could have used the timeout. They could have used their timeout, and that's the biggest mistake that you make, man. You never should leave a timeout on the board when it's critical like that. I think that's another thing, man. You got to use what you have. You got to use your timeouts. That's what hurt them. That's really what hurt the Cowboys. You got to use your timeout. You can't do that.
I've been talking about it the entire series about how defense, like I favor the defense because you need defense to win. Defense wins championships. That's a fact.
Quarterbacks win.
And
Yeah, well.
the point is this: the better defense you have, the more likely you are to make it to that Super Bowl.
But I'm saying, if you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, I
Thank
guess
you.
I have to. I got to disagree with that because if you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, man, the dude can throw through a tire, man. He can throw through a donut. I don't know how to
Okay,
explain
so
it.
so let's pull out the 6 losses he had during the season.
Yeah, but the Cowboys, see the Cowboys. I'm gonna say something. The Cowboys, they had all these wins, but look where they sitting at. So I think right now none of that means anything.
Well,
because they
and
didn't-
I'm glad you brought
The
that up,
season
Ashton.
starts
over
I
in
appreciate.
playoffs.
I thank you guys for bringing it full circle. We only had a good season. There is nothing else to talk about with the Dallas Cowboys other than we just had a good regular season. There's nothing to pull from our playoff win or
Yeah,
our
there's a
playoff
lot to
game.
pull from
Sorry,
that.
I said a playoff win.
well, I mean,
A near playoff win if the coaches let it get to
Wins
overtime.
and losses.
Yes, but you have to
Wins
admit
and losses.
But the
that was
Cowboys,
a
they sit-
31-31 game with how many seconds left?
Wins and losses.
And the Cowboys are sitting. I mean, they have all those wins. That's kind of like. I mean, basketball is different. It's like Golden State when they won all those games.
Yeah.
And they couldn't
We're
get it
talking
done.
about the Dallas Cowboys against the Green Bay Packers. Wins and
Right,
losses.
but
Who
wins and
won,
losses
who
don't
lost.
tell the story because she's telling you Golden State won
They
how many
won all
games
those games,
and
all
lost to
those
Cleveland
games,
in
and they
Game
lost.
7. The Cowboys won how many games? And when
Dallas
30 seconds was
Cowboys-
on the clock, they could not
Dallas
stop Aaron
Cowboys
Rodgers.
had a great regular season. That is all we can say about us. If you want to go deeper, you can get into hypotheticals. We had a great regular season.
Right. I
That's
mean,
it.
I agree with that because no one knew the Cowboys would get this far anyway. No one knew that they would draft this and that. But all of that stuff aside, the Cowboys, man, they're still sitting. They're out, and they're supposed to have been one of the best teams and should have been playing by now. I mean, should be there. I mean, they should be there now.
Wins and losses. I understand.
It's not about wins and losses.
It is though,
No,
because
it's
at the end of the day, who won and who lost?
Oh, yeah, in that game, yes, but it wasn't a blowout. We didn't go out like the Giants. We didn't go out like
They came-
Seattle.
Who said we did?
It was a coaching mistake at the end that
Wins
cost
and
us
losses.
that game.
Wins and losses.
No.
The Cowboys. I mean, they did come back, but I mean, you can't. You have to use your timeout. I played football. Okay. The coach that I had when we played, he said that you have to use your timeouts in critical moments, and the Cowboys you cannot leave a timeout on the board like that, or you have to run out the clock. Either way, something you could have left the timeout on the board, or you could have ran the clock out. And the Cowboys, they left the timeout and they didn't run the clock out. That's bad. That's horrible. That's bad. That's like game mismanagement. I don't know what you want to call it.
It is
So-
game mismanagement
bad.
because why would you give up a down when you have a timeout in your pocket? You didn't have to go spike the ball and give up that down, and you knew you had to kick a field goal just to tie it. So it's only 3 down territory, and you give up one with a spike, and you have a timeout in your pocket. It was a horrible coaching decision. It was almost as bad as Richard Sherman says, you decide to throw it when you have
On the 1 yard
backfield.
line. That's real.
Yes, it's wins
That's
and losses,
bad.
but one coaching decision at the critical time like that can cost you a game. And I think the Cowboys were a victim of that.
Wins and losses. All right, so
But their
we had-
loss has them sitting
We
out.
had the Dallas
So-
Cowboys lose to the Green Bay Packers, and the Seattle Seahawks. They fell short, very short of the Atlanta Falcons. But we all saw that coming. That
Yes.
was our win for the NFC.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough. So the next picks we have moving forward, Green Bay and
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Do you want to recap the Atlanta
While-
Seattle
maybe-
game
or
or
do you-
no?
I mean, we were all right when we said that Atlanta was going to take care of business on Seattle. We all said that, and we should be proud of the fact that we selected a winner in the NFC conference. Just unfortunately, not in our division.
Yeah.
And but moving forward with the AFC, the Patriots, they played around with the Texans. Let's just tell the truth.
They weren't playing. The Texans came out there to win, and if the Texans had
Really, 34-16,
If-
they came out there to win.
If the Texans had a quarterback,
Yeah, they need a quarterback bad. I mean,
Oh,
they
my
defense can only do
goodness.
so much, and when you stay
Their
out there the
defense had
whole time,
Oh,
that's
wow. Their
hard.
defense stood
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah,
And they
need
didn't
a
have a quarterback.
Wins and losses.
right?
But
And
they-
they
if
lost
they-
because they didn't have a quarterback.
And if they get a this is why I say this. So jump onto the next subject. Tony Romo, I heard
to go to
he might
Houston.
go to Houston, and if
He
he
does.
goes to Houston, oh boy, that would be a pretty good pickup. They also said he could go to the Broncos, but Houston for right now.
Well,
and
let's stay on Houston
let's stay with
losing
Houston.
to the New England Patriots. None of us
Okay.
believed they were going to win. Wins and losses.
I didn't believe they were going to win because of their quarterback, but I honestly did not think their defense would come out and play like they did.
Their defense won't be the same next year. Vince is going to go ahead and retire, and JJ, his status is still unknown.
JJ didn't play in this playoff run. But
His
the
status
defense-
is still
yeah,
unknown.
Right, but the
Imagine-
defense still held Tom Brady. In the first half, that was a ball game. If they had a real quarterback, if they had anybody but Brock Osweiler,
Breaking down the score, how did the score get out of hand if Houston was trying to win?
But their defense, if your defense is on the field, man, like if they're out there all the time, I mean, you can only do so much.
your
If
quarterback can't score touchdowns.
Yeah,
We
that's
knew that
horrible.
about Brock. That's why he got benched.
and he might not, I don't know how
Only thing I'm breaking down is the fact that a blowout happened, but the team tried to win.
That was not a blowout. You know it.
34-16.
Until the end, it was a blowout.
Well, but that's because of the defense.
34-16.
Well, that's because the defense. I mean, you can't. I mean, if you out there the whole time, and you can't get points, the other side of the ball can't get points. That's devastating. And Brock Osweiler, I mean, you can't throw.
You could make the case for the Dallas Cowboys
but
on
he missed
defense for
wide-
that.
I understand, but he's a quarterback. You missed wide open people. That's nothing but you
Yes.
missing wide open people. I'm not trying to be mean, but he missing wide open people, and you can't miss wide open people. You just can't.
That's why Tony Romo's going to Houston next year, just because they were a quarterback away in that game.
Somebody wrote on here, "Wow, I can't believe the Cowboys lost." Man, yeah.
Nobody can.
Wow, yeah.
Lost
my
at
God.
home. We lost in bad fashion.
I'm doing good.
it wasn't
wow.
in bad fashion, but
Really? Losing at home is good?
That's
losing
bad.
at home the
Losing
way we
at home.
lost over a coaching decision, I'll take it with 2 rookies as your MVP candidates.
We got Pittsburgh. We didn't get to see it. Pittsburgh and KC. Unfortunately, weather was bad where we were
Man,
at.
the power went out to all
we
of
weren't
y'all.
able
Power
to
went
see
out.
the loss on our pick there,
You're
where
right,
Pittsburgh was somehow able to rally on the road and beat Kansas City again.
Yeah, we watched replays and we weren't able to see the entire game, which I hated that the power went out, and I'm sure other people who are on here they weren't happy either because I'm sure some people, yeah, they're not happy. If the power went out at your place, you didn't get to see the game either. So yeah, but some of y'all let me know, I guess, how they won. I know I saw some of the footage and stuff, but
It doesn't really matter. Wins and losses at this point.
No, it does
But if they break it down, because some people
when you
break it down, though,
Pittsburgh didn't score one touchdown.
Travis Kelce was complaining about the fact that there was a should have been a holding non-call.
Right. Okay, the refs screwed up both games. Let's just take the refs out of it. If you look at it, Pittsburgh did not touch the end zone once. Not one time did they get a touchdown. It was the field goal kicker that kicked every single point they scored. Kansas City is the same thing that happened with Houston. They are a quarterback away. Because
if they get a quarterback, Houston,
they had a tie. They were there with the 2-point conversion. He couldn't complete the pass.
If they get a quarterback, man, Houston,
should that have been a non-call?
Which call?
The call Travis Kelce stated. I saw the spot
that he was upset about.
It was one that they were going for the 2-point conversion, and the holding that should have been a non-call is what screwed them on getting the 2 points. It would have then been tied.
They're not going to make the call on the 2-point conversion, but there was one earlier in the game where he also was being held, and they didn't call it.
Yeah, it was obvious too. So. If it's an obvious, like, I mean, come on, if they can see you tug a shirt, like if you tug this shirt, you can see, like if they tug the jersey, if you tug the jersey, you can see if somebody tugs their shirt. So they should have called it something, at least on the whole. I think that I know what she's talking about. They should have called that.
So we know the refs don't know how to do their job,
right.
And we know Houston has no offense. We know Dallas has no defense. We know Seattle has no offense.
True.
And we also know that Pittsburgh has a hell of an offense to get on the road. To get on the road and somehow score all their points to win the game through field goals.
No, that just meant they were playing a team that has Alex Smith as their quarterback, unfortunately.
I don't think Alex Smith's a bad quarterback. I think Andy Reid corrupts him, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
I'm sorry, but 15 points is not all field goals next
that's
week
not good.
Against Tom Brady.
Dak Prescott only scored 17
good.
points against Minnesota, one of the best defenses in the league.
That's the regular.
He put up 31 points against Aaron Rodgers. They were right there, toe for toe, and then it was whoever had the last possession. Unfortunately, we gave them the last possession. But with Ben Roethlisberger, he's already ailing, and then he got hit again in this game. And they didn't score any touchdowns. You had Antonio Bryan on Facebook Live. Like,
why
they just blew out people in Kansas City. Your coach is in there telling you, dude, we have our toughest challenges ahead. And you back there talking about, ooh, call me on Facebook Live. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was going to pick Pittsburgh before I saw that, but now it's totally New England for me.
Wow. So you're not even going. I know you're not even going to give hope or a chance, not even a prayer. New England is coming, and they are no joke. And everybody I think on their team, everybody's healthy on their team, right?
Yeah, except Gronk, which they were already without anyway.
But Gronk.
Well, they've got replacements
everybody
now.
else is.
Right.
I'm talking about on their defense. So everybody on that side of the ball pretty much is healthy. So. If that's the case, the Patriots are going to be tough, and
at home,
and they're at home. well, that's another tough one, and they're at home. So we'll see how that game turns out. And
but let's jump ahead. Like I'm going to be honest. I can't root for Green Bay because they beat the Cowboys. I can't.
You have to
it doesn't mean that they can't win at all. I still believe that that's a team with that kind of fire that could go all the way to the Super Bowl and get the Lombardi trophy.
I don't. We saw
Really?
we saw what a rookie quarterback and Dez Bryant, who many have called suspect at times this year. They lit him up. They lit that defense up. And they had somebody else go out. So now they got a rookie starting at cornerback. Not that it was any better or worse than the guy that got hurt, but Julio Jones, Taylor Gabriel, Sanu, whoever, Hooper or whichever tight end he picks, Freeman and Coleman. I'm sorry, that defense is too suspect. And Atlanta's at home and they have that fire in their eyes. I feel like Atlanta's coaches are going to see what Dallas did wrong, not relying on your running game, something that's gotten you here. And I believe that Atlanta actually beats them by a touchdown.
Well, I'm rooting for Atlanta just because I would want to see them beat the Green Bay Packers. That's emotional. But I mean,
I want to see it too, but I would rather actually us having lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions.
well, here's the thing.
Well-
I see a fire in the Atlanta Falcons, eyes that like they're ready to go and face off.
But I'll tell you what, but Green Bay is suspect, I would say, on defense because
Yes.
you have a lot of people hurt, and if you going up against,
Well, here's where I was going with it.
Well,
I want to direct it.
Okay.
Let's make a hypothetical.
okay,
Atlanta versus New England in the Super Bowl. This is a battle of the offense. I could watch that. I could watch that. I don't know about the round table, but I could watch that.
I could.
I could watch it. I could watch it.
I would love that better
Man.
than Atlanta and Pittsburgh.